Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. I am super psyched that my guest Tracie Staggers is here and she's going to share with you who she is, what she can do for you. So, Tracie, take it away.
Hi, my name is Tracie. I am a clairvoyant medium. I am a shamanic healer and I am an oracle reader. So, my job is to help uplift every single soul and not only uplift souls, but touch hearts and hopefully save lives. That has always been my objective from day one. My past is very extensive when it comes to grief and dealing with a lot of life challenges that seemed almost impossible to overcome. And with that knowledge, I vow to come back and help whoever I can to help them overcome their obstacles and challenges in life because it's really never as bad as it may appear. So here I am.
Oh, that's powerful. That is powerful. So, Tracie, take us back to the place that you were at when you had your awakening. When you first decided that it was time to live on another timeline. Take us
I
there.
felt like the life that I was living at the time just was no longer working for me anymore. I felt like I was drowning, going deeper and deeper, and with no life vest on. And every day that went by, I felt like there has to be something more to this life. There has to be something more to my life. Right now, my life, I felt like back then, had no real meaning
Hmm.
because I felt like all I did was work a 9 to 5 job. And although it was very fulfilling, I was nowhere near happy.
Yes.
And that's when I decided to really, really change my life.
Yes. 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 That is so many places that so many people are, and I can attest to that because I actually also had that same experience where, it was like one day I sat down and I thought, Tammy, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, you're not happy, and that was an experience. So when you started to have these realizations, let's call them, um, what were some of the steps that you started to take? I mean, like, because I know for me, it's like, I just wanted to just burn everything down, and that
Right.
was how I felt. I just want to burn it down, and sometimes that is what's required, but other times that's not.
Right.
And because you want to throw like the baby out with the bathwater, you want to just let it all go, like, just get out. But sometimes you need to keep the baby and just let the bathwater go out. So, so how did you navigate that? Because I can feel that that probably was a feeling that you may have had. So how did you
You,
navigate all of that?
I agree with you with your story, with your logic. I'm like, what am I doing here? But the biggest part for me was journaling. Journaling saved my life. And I I had a couple of years of dealing with domestic violence, and during that time, I drowned so much out. I didn't realize how much I was holding on to. I had lost both of my parents. They're
Mm,
both in heaven now, and I'm thankful that they're guiding my life now.
yes,
I'm extremely thankful.
that is such
Um,
a blessing.
Thank you. And but during that time it was hard, and it was really after my father passed. He was my second parent that passed, and it was really after he passed is when my life completely took a different turn. And the only way that I could really find any relief was through writing.
Yes.
And I slowly incorporated frequency. meditation frequency. I slowly incorporated that. I had this little voice in my ear, meditate, and I'm like, what's meditate? And so I did some research, learned about chakras and how they affect the body and meditation. And
Yeah.
so I paired journaling with meditation and or just listening to the frequency, and that has made a huge improvement on my life. I looked at my diet. I no longer eat fast food anymore. I do eat, of course, a little bit unhealthy, but fast food, greasy foods has all been eliminated from my life. Alcohol is little to non-existent in my life anymore. And getting out the house and going to the beach for a walk, all of those changes has made a huge impact on my life.
Yes. That's powerful. Because the thing is once you start having those realizations and those awakenings, you know, the next step is to take the action. And that's what you did. You know,
Amen.
and that's to me that's beautiful because we in this spirituality world. I'm learning because I've been studying this stuff for about 10 years or better, but I'm learning that so many times people look at the law of attraction, they look at what is that book, The Secret,
Mhm.
and they say, oh, well, all I have to do is just just think about it and just focus on it, and eat bonbons and I'll lose the weight. Yeah, no, no.
Maybe if you eat them first thing in the morning and you don't eat anything else for the rest of the day, it'll work.
Then you lose all of your muscle and all of that, and it's the thing is people think this way,
Mhm.
and so I love to talk about this stuff and dispel these myths, because it's just crazy, and to me it's horrible because it keeps people from using these metaphysical laws in order to better their life.
Mhm.
Because when you start getting, in tune and in touch with these laws, your life can't help but to get better because you'll start
Yes.
actually going the way that the universe, that God, that source wants us to go, you know,
Amen.
into doing it. Because I'm telling you, when I grab hold of the law of assumption, that is one of my favorite laws because it says that if you assume a thing, then it is.
Yep.
You just have to assume that thing and put yourself in that frequency and that vibration. So anyway, how did your life change after that?
My life has changed dramatically, so I've relied a lot on my family. My family has been huge to my healing journey, and healing is a lifelong journey.
Yes.
And I am so thankful that they have been around here with me, supporting me, listening to me, helping to wipe the tears away. And it was extremely tough. And where I'm at today is I'm happy and I feel like my heart is free. I feel like I have released so much energy from my past. I confronted the pent up energy and pain that I was dealing with from the numerous deaths in my family, and again, including my parents. That was tough.
Yes.
And fast forward to today, I took a leap on myself. And being a reader, being a healer, being a medium, it's not only my job, but it's a job that I don't actually even consider work. I
Right.
get up and I'm like, whose heart can I touch today?
Mm, that
That
is
is my goal every single day.
mm, that is
And that's what I love to do. And that's what fills my heart with so much joy right now. And I feel like I'm almost to a stage of enlightenment. I have so much love and joy and peace in my heart. It just feels amazing.
it
And
does.
all I wanna do is just go back and help as many people as I possibly can reach the same state.
It does. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. Because why? Because you're sitting on my virtual couch.
Amen. And I'm so thankful.
I am too. It's just been such an amazing, I mean, because we were able to talk on in the green room, y'all, and and I really am trying to recreate the conversations because but you know what? It's okay because it's a learning experience and I'm going to learn, and that's how I am. But Tracie, tell us a little bit about, what you were doing before you came to this enlightened space. How did you get from, in the words of what's her name? The song. How did you get here?
And Deborah Cox. Deborah Cox.
Absolutely. That's I'm in tune. Like I ask that question and sing that song often. But how'd you get here? Like from, like what were you doing before? What type of work were you doing? And and was it difficult to make the transition? Because I know how that can be.
Yes, it was difficult. I spent about 17 years in outside sales, business to business sales, from the packaging industry to the safety industry, and the clients and partnerships and friendships that I picked up along the way, excuse me, I am forever grateful. Those who took an opportunity and a chance out on me, I am extremely grateful. I was not walking in my purpose. And I always felt a little bit off, although I was very much successful, especially being a woman of color. I was very much successful, but I felt like there was no real passion there.
Yes.
There was no real purpose there.
Yeah.
And so I went on ahead and made the switch. It was tough. It was extremely tough to work in outside sales to now being 100% entrepreneur. It's quite of a bit of a difference there, especially when you're used to having the guaranteed income versus getting it your own now, right? And so it takes a lot of confidence and faith and trust in not only yourself, but in your higher power just as well. And so fast forward to today, am I all the way there? No. Do I have all the answers? No, I don't. But I'll tell you, I am much wiser, stronger, and courageous than what I was 2 years ago when I was fighting for my life because I could barely breathe.
That part. That
Yes.
is that is a part because so many of us spiritual entrepreneurs, I'm saying, go through this, and it's like when you start getting that call because, you know, I notice with spiritual entrepreneurs, we get that call where we have to go and find our purpose. We have to.
Mhm.
But I noticed that other people in the world, they don't care about that, and they don't have to. They can work these jobs for 40 years and all that stuff to do the American dream, get a job, work it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, however long until you die, that kind of stuff. And it's like
Mhm.
we can't do that, many of us, and I'm
Mhm.
including myself. I am like, it's time to go. And
Mhm.
it's taken, um when I look at other people, I know it's like, they were doing this and they were doing that and they were making, really good money, and then all of a sudden they just knew they weren't fulfilled. It's like they were compelled, they couldn't even not. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
once that hits you. And so I want you to describe what it felt like when you finally made the transition, when you made the shift, when you set that intention that this is what you were going to do, what you're put here to do, why you came to this particular planet at this particular time.
I fought it. I fought it for quite some time. I took some business trips and yeah, exactly, and I took some business trips and came back with something. And I thought that's a sign. I uncovered all of my skills, all of my abilities, and these are abilities that I was born with. From I realized around the age of 11 that I had a very unique skill set, and I've always just used that skill set on a surface level, oh, I want to get a better deal here, or oh, what's going on over there, and never really took it seriously. And so throughout my career, I felt, okay, now it's time for a change. I've gone through all of these different life experiences. How am I going to shape my life experience into my skill set and combine them and really make a career out of it?
Mm, that's
And then I
powerful.
said, well, you're not going to, right? So I still kept trying to go with the 9 to 5 career route until one day I did a reading on myself, and one of the messages was stop going against and align with what is.
I love it. You did a reading on yourself. That is the
So
ultimate self-care.
exactly. So I said, okay, it's really time for me to wake up. And I finally just put my hands up, and I received communication after communication that when you are walking in your life purpose and you are pursuing what you were born to do, you will never, ever have to worry about anything. And that's exactly what has been happening in my life.
That is
So
so
while I'm growing, thank you. While I'm growing, yes, do I, fear sometimes? Of course, I'm human. I don't have it all figured out, but my faith is so much more stronger. And
yeah,
that's why I'm still here today and still not interested in a 9 to 5 at this point. And
yes,
I'm happy and I'm peaceful and I have lots of joy in my heart.
yes.
Yes.
And do you have a feeling of security?
Yes. And my feeling of security is not only here in the physical with my family, but also spiritually. So I feel like I'm like bulletproof per se. I come with love. My intentions is to never hurt anyone. And with that being said, I never have to fear anything.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now let's talk about your work. So do you
Yes.
work with clients? No, that's not even what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the mediumship. How did that come about?
So the mediumship came about, and I started seeing synchronicities. And I was like, huh. And then there was this one particular day where I started hearing different voices. And I was like, huh. So then I seen the numbers 999 999. And I said, what does that mean? So I Googled, of course, used my search engine, and it said exactly, you have reached a new level of consciousness. And regardless on what road you take in life, you will always be right back here at the very
Hmm.
minimum. And so I was like, interesting. And then I started hearing a voice, go get a lottery ticket. And I was like, wait, where is this coming from? I'm not used to hearing voices. I'm
Love
not
it.
used to hearing this.
Know it
And so
well.
exactly. And so I was like, "Okay, I'm supposed to get a lottery ticket." So I was asked to play a specific set of numbers, and I said, "Great." The problem is I missed communication somewhere down the way because I was supposed to play Powerball and not Mega Millions.
Oh,
Yes.
well, I would have
So
played all of them.
I should have, right? But I
Yeah,
didn't, 'cause at the time, I'm still thinking, "Wait, am I hearing voices? What's
yeah,
wrong with me?"
I got you. I know
But
that well. I know it well. It's like, who's talking to
exactly.
me?
Yeah, then so anyway, from that moment, I knew that I was connecting somewhere. I didn't exactly know where, but at that moment, I knew I was connecting to a level that's much higher than myself and what I've been used to.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's
Yeah.
powerful. So now, did that start when you were young, or did that start, like, was that now times that started the mediumship?
In the last couple of years.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So was it a scary thing? That's what I wanted you to bring up.
No, it wasn't scary, because it was always something that I knew. It's and growing up, of course, you go down different roads in life. You get busy, you get distracted, and so the voices that I was hearing in my head, I really kind of ignored it and kind of thought of it was just my higher self speaking to myself, my intuition speaking to me, not necessarily pairing it with I'm connecting to the spiritual world.
Oh,
So that has been going on for years. But as far as me actually putting the connections together and making sense of it and confirming, receiving confirmation, has been within the last couple years.
okay. So you had separated your intuition from your from the spirit.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never thought about that, but that is, I could see how people could do that.
Yeah. And sometimes I literally ask myself, is this my higher self speaking? Is this my intuition speaking? Or is this spirit speaking?
So you're clairaudient.
Yes.
See, and that's my strongest gift. That's the reason why I was asking that. Because I that's the strongest one. Like that they talk to me like all the time. I have to say, shut up, please. I need to sleep. No. They talk to me,
Sometimes I'm like, "Silence, I'm going to sleep."
yeah, I got to sleep. Stop it. I need some rest. Y'all know I struggle with sleep. Stop. But yeah. Yeah, that gift, yeah, it was something, but I was gonna ask something. So as you started developing more, you know, what were some of the things and maybe modalities that started to draw you? Because I always tell people, I said I feel like most of the time that Reiki is like a gateway to energy. You know how they
Right.
say, it's like a gateway to energy. Like it's the first thing that, most people know what it is. And so it's the first thing that people do. And, they go and get certified in that. And then it opens the door to other things, other modalities and other type of things. Like I love theta healing and I love what is that other prana healing. I've had an experience with that was freaking amazing. So I mean, it's just so many different types, quantum healing, and there's so many. So, what were some of the ones that drew you, some of the things that you were drawn to?
I'm most drawn to quantum healing, and that's the one that piques my interest the most, and YouTube actually had a better understanding of the path and the awakenings that I was having before I did.
Oh, so they were sending you the videos.
Exactly, but I believe it was actually spirit putting the videos up there and
Yeah,
giving me little pieces of what I'm going through and the road that I'm heading down. And so I had a very close family member of mine that was in the hospital, and this family member, they will get revealed later as they will be one of my testimonials. But this family member was in the hospital, and I was so scared. And this was the first healing that I've ever done, so it was all spirit led. Again, the voices in my head, and I have to do something. I just didn't know, and so I was led to go do a healing with just my hands and a prayer. That was it, and the person's permission just as well.
of course.
And as soon as the prayer was done, her body was already moving, insides were already moving, and just made a huge improvement. And that moment, she and I both knew I have real gift.
Yeah, that was the validation that you required.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing because a lot of times, people will have the call, but they'll be too afraid to actually take the action. And that's what you did, and I'm so proud of you.
thank you. I am super thankful because I was scared and she was too,
Of course.
you know, but we did it, and she's definitely going to be one of my testimonials pretty soon.
That is awesome. That's powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you recognize and then you did it. And you didn't let fear stop you, and that really is, to me, that's the greater work.
Mhm.
Because people always talk about, you know, what Jesus said, that greater works we would do, and I honestly believe that that's the greater work, is overcoming ourselves and
Yes.
overcoming that the fear of taking action on something we receive guidance on, and that's just so powerful. So talk about a little bit about your work with domestic violence.
As far as my experience or how I'm going back and helping?
Yeah, how you're helping. I mean, you
So
can
how
share a little, if you want to, if for context, if you want to, you can share a little bit of your experience, and then share how you're helping.
Okay. So I really chose to go back and help survivors of domestic violence because I survived myself and I had to pick myself back up and relearn life again. So I spent 2 years with my fiance, my ex-fiance, I should say. I spent 2 years and I went on a roller coaster ride for those 2 years. A roller coaster ride that I thought was going to crash
Mm,
and
gosh.
burn down.
Mm,
And I felt like because I have been stalked, because I have been choked unconscious, because my face was painted black and blue, I felt like this area particularly is very sensitive and a target area for me to go back and um, help uplift other survivors and other souls that's currently going through domestic violence. I have not spent a tremendous amount of time in that sector yet because I am still healing myself.
yes.
And I never want to
Project.
exactly.
Hmm. And
And
that's
so,
that's so perfect.
yeah,
To me, that's like someone who cares. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Because it's like now I can probably help people that have, been through what I went through. Like they had a cheating, husband and
mhm,
boyfriend, whatever, and they experienced that type of stuff. I could probably help them now, but I couldn't have helped them right after I got out of it,
yep,
as I was healing, as it was still raw for me. So I think, to me, that's like amazing for you to even think about it in that way, because
yeah,
they would be, the people are like, oh yeah, we need help, come on, come on, come on, but for you to think about it in that way, that you want to make sure that you're healed enough not to project onto them. that's
yes,
that's like so powerful. So,
thank you.
oh God, I'm so grateful that we are having this conversation. So you want to share like your ideal client with the people?
My ideal client is every and anybody who wants to heal, who wants to actually receive clear communication on what it will take to get them to a happier place. My ideal client is not based on your nationality, it's not based on your age, with the exception of 18 plus. But otherwise, it's not based on your age, it's not based on your gender, your sexuality. If you want to heal, if you want a message from your loved ones in heaven, you are my ideal client. My
Mm.
readings are healing based. And yes, I can tell you everything you want to hear. Of course, I can, but I will also tell you everything that you may not want to hear. And that is my ideal client just as well.
That's powerful. That's powerful, because the thing is I noticed something you said, a person that wants to heal. Because what I noticed is that so many times people reach out to you, but they don't really want to heal, because
Hmm.
they don't really want to do the work, because they don't realize that there's work required, because we're not bewitched
Hmm.
and we're not genie, and we can't just bing and you're good. I mean, it's just not like that.
I wish.
We all wish. So yes, I think that is so important. People that want to heal. Because I didn't realize that everybody doesn't.
Yep.
I thought everybody wanted to heal. Should I do?
Yep.
I
Yep.
thought everybody wanted to heal. Anytime I can get any type of assistance in that area, holistically, because I'm not interested in pharmaceuticals. I'm not interested in that. But holistically, I'm interested. But everybody doesn't want that. It's the same way with homelessness, I found out. Everybody don't want a house.
Yep.
Some people want to be homeless. Some
Hmm.
people want to stay in their victimhood. Some people want to continue to tell the same stories. So being open to healing to me is like the most important.
Yes, that's half the battle.
Yes. Because
Amen.
because the first thing, I don't know about you, but the first thing with my clients I have to do is I have to teach them how to get in their bodies, how to stay present, how
Hmm.
to feel, how to experience their giftings, how to understand how they receive messages, all of that kind of stuff. That has to be like the first thing. And usually is, and I recently realized that I don't want to do one-off sessions because they're not helpful. I want to do say, at least, like a 3-pack or, a 6-pack or something like that to work with people so you can really get into it and really help them, make the changes and the transformations that they came to you for, and I didn't realize that until this particular day.
But you realized it. That's important.
That is important. You are so right. All right. So now just I want you to just share, whatever's going on that you have, like if you have, if you're launching something or if you're looking for, certain people or whatever. So just share, and you can also share where the people can connect with you. And then I'm going to ask the question that I ask everybody. If you could
Okay.
change anything in the world, what would that be and why?
Okay. So I will start with if I could change anything in the world, what would that be? And I would say to remove hatred, to change hatred. And you can walk, you can go grocery shopping and look at someone in their eyes. And if they're having a bad day, if you are not properly prepared, their energy can easily transfer on over to you. Their deep down thoughts that they don't talk about, that energy can project right on over to you. And a lot of that comes from the way that we have been conditioned throughout our entire lives and the evil and the hatred that lies deep, deep within the body. And so, if I could change anything in this world, that would be to remove that out of everybody on this planet. That would make a huge difference. Once the hatred is gone, love will naturally shine.
Mm, that's powerful.
So thank you. That would definitely be a change. Trulyblessedhealing.com is still under construction. It's constantly being uploaded with new information from learning how to meditate to why healing is important to understanding grief and the process to healing, etc. And that is definitely one form to contact and connect with me. You can also connect with me on various social media channels just as well. Truly Blessed Healing is where I'm located under all of my social media platforms.
Awesome. That is so powerful. And do you have anything that you're launching?
So right now, I've been working on launching a new structure that's based on incorporating healings with readings and making it fun. So it's been a new concept that I've been working on, but not just an average reading that you pay $150 for, or average healing, but how can we really combine them and make them interactive, make them exciting, and make the people want to get up and come? Because really, at the end of the day, I'm just an integrator to help you and deliver those messages from your guardian angels, but I want to make sure that you're having fun with uplifting and healing yourself just as well. So combining the two and creating a sweet spot for it, if that makes sense.
I love that. It makes perfect sense. It actually is actually what I do. I actually was just thinking as we were talking, I was like, I need to get off my do nothing and go out and market the old school way,
Yeah.
I'm marketing on social media, but go out and take my flyers and talk to people and stuff like that and do some peopling.
Mhm. Yep. And I want to be able to just go downtown and ask folks if I can pray for them. I want to be able to start doing that. But I'm not there yet, all in due time, but there's various
Hey,
different
divine
ideas.
timing.
Exactly. Yep.
And a lot of times we don't think about that. We say divine timing, but we don't really consider it, because we want it when we want it,
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but I want it now.
I wanted it yesterday.
And it's like, yeah, no, I would like it. Yeah, when do you want now? I want it now.
Now. Yep.
Right now. Not
Yep.
yesterday, not tomorrow. I want it right now.
Yep.
So but we don't consider that. But it's just so amazing and enlightening to be in this world. And I don't know, I know you agree because you've dived in, but it's just so amazing and enlightening to be in this world where you know that you don't have to worry about what's going on around you because you know that God got you. You
Yep.
know the universe supports you. What
Yep.
did what's her name say? The universe, God has your back.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know that. Whatever you call them. I always tell people, I'm like, it's really semantics. God, universe, source. My mama calls it the omni. Somebody else I know calls him the infinite. So I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah.
How
It's
do you
your
feel about
preference.
your preference? How do you feel about it in your heart? I
Hmm.
remember my grandmother said this thing, and it was so cute, but I remember it all these years. So my grandmother was with my grandfather, and my grandfather is Jehovah's Witness. Well, he was. And so my grandfather said, well, they don't even know God's name, because God's name, is Jehovah and this and this and that. And so my grandmother said, mm-hmm. She said, your name is Robert, right? And he said, yeah. And she said, so if I call you Robert, will you answer? He said, yeah. She said, your name is, and she told him his middle name. He said, yeah. She said, if I call you that, will you answer? And he said, yeah. She said, and if your last name. And she said, if I call you that, will you answer? He said, yeah. She said, well, God is the same. He'll
That's
answer
beautiful.
whatever you call him.
Yeah.
Girl, all I could think was, I was like, wow, that was profound. I was like a teenager. I was like, wow, that was profound. You
That
know,
is amazing.
it was. I mean, it's like, why do we care?
Yeah.
What difference does it make? None.
It
You know,
it really doesn't. My logic is as long as you believe in a power that's bigger than yourself, then that's what's most important to me.
yes, yes. The greater, yes. And it's just to me, it's so free, because I don't know about, like, I was raised in the church from we were spoon fed the Bible. So I know it well. And I tell people that all the time. I was like, I know it well. I know what that book says because I've read it many, many times. And I went to ministry school too.
Mhm.
So I know about that, but I've also read other books. I've read some of the Torah, read some of the Quran, I've read some of the New World Order and the thing from the Latter-day Saints people, the Mormon thing. I've read some of their stuff. You know what I mean? And it's basically really mostly all the same.
It
You
really is.
and it's just different levels of occult, but anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. But so
I know, right? I'm like the what I love about spirituality the most is because spirituality asks you to look within, not
yes,
to rely on anything but your heart.
yes, you and
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
and I laugh. I'm like, I love it. I love it, and I love the different ways that you can learn it.
Hmm.
Because it's certain, like I used to really struggle with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I used to really struggle with that until one day, I don't know, like I had a Kundalini awakening just recently, like in the last year. And it was just the most amazing experience that I've ever felt in my life. And after that, so many things shifted. And that was one of them. Like I like to listen to Dr. Joe, but I could rarely understand what the hell that stuff was about. But
Right.
when I started listening, I was like, what the, oh my God. Oh, he's talking about this. Oh, and a lot of it I already knew. Same thing with what is the other one I started listening to that like opened up my mind? Dr. Bruce Lipton. I was like, oh my God, you know. And it's just, to me, it's amazing when you get like that.
Right.
When you feel in tune, and you just know.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
love it.
God, it's so amazing. So amazing. All right. So we are going to land this plane. Tracie is going to give us words of wisdom to take us home. So share something from your heart to the people.
Smiling and self love is extremely important. So, my final words is to never, ever, I make sure to make someone smile every single day, but never forget you are someone too.
That is powerful. That is so powerful. Thank you, Tracie, so much for joining me. This has been a pleasure. I have really, really, really enjoyed this conversation. And I hope that you guys have too. And if
Me
you
too.
are watching and you are wanting to um, get your message out, you're a spiritual entrepreneur and you want to get your message out, make sure that you respond. Send me a message wherever you are listening or watching this show. Make sure that you also like, share, and subscribe so that the message out even more so that more people are able to watch it. And I want to thank you just for your time and your energy.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.